How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and we got some breaking news here on the channel, of course. I'm going to try to keep you guys updated with all the coaching changes, free agency, all that good stuff. But we got some breaking news. Not only is former Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett out, but guess who's coming in, ladies and gentlemen? Former Green Bay Packers head coach Mike McCarthy is now going to be the new man in charge. That's right, Mike McCarthy, the former Green Bay Packers head coach, will now be coaching the Dallas Cowboys next season. I don't know the contract details just yet. I imagine it's going to be like a 5-year deal, just like most standard coaching contracts, but that is the hire. I mean, after interviewing Marvin Lewis, having a brief conversation with Jeff Fisher, no, you heard both of those correctly, they decided to go with Mike McCarthy. And these are going to be my raw reactions. Like, obviously, I've checked out what some people said on the internet. I like to see, like, how people are kind of thinking about the same situation, and then I form my own opinion from there. So basically, the immediate reactions from most people, they either really like it or they really don't. I know, what a dull statement that was, but seriously, I mean, that's kind of the consensus, like, opinions out there. They either really like the hire or they think it's another joke hire. I will talk about Mike McCarthy briefly. I mean, of course, I'm a Packer fan. I feel like I could speak on him because I've had to put up with him. And, you know, he's been a pretty good coach for Green Bay. I mean, it didn't end well, but, you know, it's definitely something I'm going to talk about. You know, Mike McCarthy, of course, came to the Packers around, 2005. He was a former offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He comes to Green Bay, and he's been a pretty consistent head coach for us. You know, like I said, it didn't end well, but we'll get to that later. You know, at one point in Mike McCarthy's coaching tenure, he was second place in consecutive playoff berths behind Bill Belichick. So that just goes to show you how successful he was with the Green Bay Packers in the NFC North. Did he have Aaron Rodgers? Yes. Did he get to inherit Brett Favre for a couple of seasons? Yes. But the teams weren't always necessarily perfect. The teams weren't always Super Bowl caliber rosters. I mean, Mike McCarthy is a former Super Bowl winner. They did win the Super Bowl in the 2010-2011 season when Green Bay was the 6th seed in the playoffs, the last 6th seed to win a Super Bowl. So for Minnesota and Tennessee, who both clinched the playoffs, or not clinched the playoffs, but won their wild card games this past weekend, you have a lot to live up to, just saying, because that Green Bay team was something special, capturing lightning in a bottle. But then we go on, of course, you know, consistent playoff team for most of the tenure after the Super Bowl. And, you know, like, we'd probably get to the divisional round or get to the NFC Championship and lose. I know in 2016 was a devastating year. It was kind of an overachieving year in a sense as well, because of all the injuries we had. We kind of just backdoored our way into the NFC Championship. It's kind of like what the Eagles were going through, except like we were a better version of them, and obviously with a way better quarterback. Or I shouldn't say way better, but you know what I mean. Like, no offense to Carson Wentz, but it is what it is. But the last 2 years for Mike McCarthy didn't end well, and a lot of that had to do with the lack of innovation. And that's not even a narrative, that's just a fact. Like, when you saw the Green Bay Packers play, you could literally go watch any game from 2009 and call the same plays. Like, that's how redundant, that's how repetitive the offense was. And it literally got to the point where it was stale, and, you know, Rodgers would, quote-unquote, roll his eyes at some of the play calls because there was no innovation. In a league that constantly is trying to innovate and get with the times and is always evolving, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers just didn't adapt. In a league where you have to adapt and get with the program and move with the times, it just never happened like that for Mike McCarthy, which ended up leading to him being fired. And with, of course, 2 underachieving seasons to end his tenure. Now, he's going to be getting another chance right here. I'm going to be reading a direct quote from my friend Dalton Cannon. He just commented on a post I tagged him in about with Mike McCarthy or whatever. He said, "Hopefully he can get the offense clicking. I like it. We got the talent, but that talent failed to show up against good teams this past season. That's true. I think that's a pretty good sentiment right there, pretty good statement. They did fail to show up, but, you know, let's be honest. Mike McCarthy is an upgrade over Jason Garrett. But to be honest, is this going to be the best fit? I'm going to say it's an intriguing fit. I don't really know if it's going to be the best fit. I don't know if, you know, this is going to be, you know, like a shoe-in, like, yeah, guaranteed success right away. This Cowboys team, yes, they're talented. Yes, they have a lot of egos, but I think Mike McCarthy is one of those guys who can handle it. I mean, he was able to put up with, you know, Aaron Rodgers. We know he's not the kindest, most humble guy in the world, but he was able to put up with Aaron Rodgers. He'll definitely be able to put up with any personality on this team. That's for sure. I know people were interested in the prospect of him being Cleveland's head coach. I don't think that would have been the greatest fit. Personally, there's just way too much going on over there for Mike McCarthy to come and fix it. I did like the prospect of him being the New York Jets head coach last year, but he decided to take that year off because the Jets had hired Adam Gase. So he was just like, you know what, I'm going to just take the year off. And apparently he hired like an analytics team. He hired a scouting team of people. And, you know, if he's got some fresh ideas in the lab, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how it translates onto the field. And it'll also be interesting, of course, this whole offseason. You know, Dak Prescott, is he going to get a contract extension, or is he going to get franchise tagged? Is Amari Cooper going to come back? Is Byron Jones going to come back? What are they going to do in the draft? You know, like, there's a lot of moving pieces with Dallas, and it's going to be interesting to see how all of this gets answered. Of course, Dallas fans want a safety. Most Dallas fans that I know, either online or in real life, you know, they want Grant Delpit from LSU. You know, they've been seeing him fall down some draft boards. That's kind of who they want. We'll see how their offseason goes for sure. Now you're looking at a veteran coaching staff, so that's cool. You know, a veteran coaching staff or whatever. We've seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of do the same thing, hire a veteran coach. It got them to 7-9, but they were kind of, you know, bad before that. At least now they're somewhat decent, I guess you could say. But how do I feel about the hire? Like I said, I'm intrigued. I don't know how good it's going to go. I don't know if it'll be a disaster. There's only one way to find out. Let it play out next year. We'll see. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this little brief update, and I'll see you around for the next coaching update, whenever that will be. Of course, guys are interviewing today, like Kevin Stefanski, Josh McDaniels, I'm pretty sure is going to interview today. So we'll see if anyone else gets hired, but hopefully you guys enjoy, and peace out.